If you ever dream a dream that feels heavier than sleep, do not ignore it. Some dreams are not made of imagination but revelation. Some visions are not born in the mind but placed there by the one who warns before he judges. And the prophet Daniel saw something buried so deep in his visions that most people read right past it, never realizing it was a warning for our generation. But I did not understand that warning until the night something began to follow me from my own dreams. Before we go any further, brief prophetic end-time messages speak to you. Subscribe to Kingdom Insight so you never miss the warnings that come through the silence. Because what I am about to tell you is connected to Daniel's vision and you need to hear it. It began on a quiet night in a small town, where the streets rest after 8-man porch lights glow like tiny watchmen. I was half asleep off drifting in prayer when the air in my room grew heavy. Not cold but warm, just heavier, like the atmosphere thickened around me waiting. I closed my eyes and a dream opened, not like a normal dream but like a curtain being pulled back. I found myself standing in a desert valley, sand and moving sky, bruised purple horizon trembling with a strange light. Everything was still as if creation itself was holding its breath. Then I heard it, a voice not loud, not soft, but ancient like wine traveling through stone. Look. I turned and a figure stood beside me, dressed in linen, eyes burning like polished bronze, a face shining like fire. I knew this presence. Not personal but S-C-R-I-P-T-U-R-A-L-L-Y. It was the same description Daniel wrote in Daniel 10, when he saw the messenger from heaven, one that made him fall to the ground trembling. I whispered, "What am I seeing?" He pointed his hand toward the horizon, and then I saw it. A beast rising from the dust, shifting, hanging if made of many creatures. Its body twisted into forms I recognized from Daniel 7, the lion, birth, leopard, and something darker, something Daniel struggled to describe. It moved like shadow turned to flesh, like prophecy turning into reality. My chest tightened, my breath grew thin. The messenger spoke again. This is not the warning. This is the sign before the warning. I felt fear grip my bones. What warning? I whispered. The messenger looked at me and the valley trembled. You will hear it soon, and when you do, you must tell them. The dream shattered like glass hit by thunder, and I woke up gasping in my bed, heart pounding, sheets damp with sweat. I tried to convince myself it was just a dream, but my spirit refused the lie. Something had begun. If you ever wake up feeling like a dream followed you, as if something steps out of the night and into your world, pay attention. God has many ways of speaking, and warnings rarely come twice. The next night he prayed before lying down, asking God for clarity, asking if the dream was truly from him or from fear. But the moment sleep touched meth, vision returned. This time I was standing beside a river, clear, still, if a sky that looked cracked as if lightning had frozen into shards. The messenger stood across the water, hands lifted, face stern. And behind him he saw Daniel. Not the aged man from children's books, but the young elite one who prayed 3 times a day, one who stood in fire without burning, one whose visions shook kings. Daniel lifted his eyes to me, and the sorrow in them cut deeper than any fear. He spoke not with his mouth but through my spirit. There is a warning in my final vision, hidden for the last generation. The air thickened, the river grew dark. He continued, most read the beasts, kings, numbers, haunts, but they missed the morning. Part I wrote with tears, part that was not meant for my time but for yours. The messenger placed his hand on Daniel's shoulder, and Daniel vanished like fog dissolving in sunlight. The messenger walked across the water each step, sending ripples of light across the surface. Then he stood before me. The warning is sealed no longer. You will hear it, and you must speak it. He reached out, touched my forehead, and fire filled my mind. I screamed, but no sound came out. And then he heard it. A whisper rising from deep beneath the earth. Not a voice, a cry. A cry so full of grief it felt like the world was weeping. The messenger let go and I collapsed to the ground. I woke up again, breathless, chants, ringing buzz still echoing in my skull. If a dream ever feels more real than waking life, it is not a dream. It is a message, and ignoring it can cost more than sleep. In the following days, my town began to change. Not dramatically, but subtly way. Sickness begins with a single shiver. Dogs refused to bark at night. Lights flickered in homes with no electrical issues. The sky at dusk turned a strange pale color, like the sun was sick. People whispered about hearing things scratching beneath the floor, spreading behind walls, soft crying from empty rooms. Something was moving, not physical, a bit spiritual, like a shadow stretched across the land. I opened my Bible, hands trembling, and read Daniel 12 verse 4. Seal the words of the book until the time of the end. But the messenger told me the seal was broken. If that was truth, then the unsealed warning was unfolding. 3 nights Lottery fell asleep instantly as if pulled into sleep by force. This time I was not in a valley beside a river. I was standing in the middle of my town, but not as it was. This version of the town was hollow. Buildings, dark windows, broken streets cracked like the world had been emptied of people. A sound rose above, mellow, deep, vibrating my bones. I looked up, and the sky was red, not bright, not fiery, but a dying red like blood diluted in water. From the center of the sky a shape formed like the outline of a massive shadow. Then came the voice, the same voice Daniel heard in Daniel 10 verse 6, the voice that sounded like a multitude. A voice so powerfully dropped to my knees. The voice spoke only one sentence. The time is shorter than you think. The ground shook. The buildings crumbled. A wave of darkness rolled toward me, and the messenger appeared again. He shouted over the roar. This is the warning. Daniel could not speak. This is the part he wrote with trembling. This is the weight he carried to his grave. The darkness swallowed me, and I woke up screaming, covered in tears and sweat and fear. Before we continue, make sure you are subscribed to Kingdom Insight so you do not miss the rest of this warning, because what happens next is the part Daniel sealed, and the part heaven is now unsealing. The next night was the last dream. This time I found myself standing before a massive stone wall covered in ancient writing. Some words were glowing, others fades and cracked. The messenger stood beside me. This is Daniel's last warning. He pointed at a line of text glowing like a blade of fire. I read it. And the moment I read it, my mind felt like it was splitting open. The text said, "When knowledge increase, when nations rage, when truth is traded for lessened, when the holy is mocked, the last shaking begins." I stepped back, heart pounding. He pointed at another glowing line. "A time of trouble, circus, never wars will come in, many will fall not to the sword but to deceit." Then the final line lit up brighter than all the others. "The watchers will rise and the sleepers will perish." I fell to my knees. "What does that mean?" I whispered. The messenger answered, "It means exactly what Daniel feared. In the final days, most will sleep through the warnings, and only a few will stay awake. Only a few will listen. Only a few will prepare." He stepped closer. "You must stay awake. You must warn them. The shaking has already begun." His hand touched my chest and everything turned white. I woke up just before sunrise, heart bruised, spirit trembling. Outside, its sky was quiet like the air knew something I did not. I whispered. Lord, he heard it. I listened, and the same whisper from my dream rose inside my spirit. "Then speak." So I am speaking. This is the warning Daniel sealed and heaven unsealed. This is the cry he carried and the cry we ignored. The time is shorter than we think. The shaking has begun. The watchers are waking. The sleepers are falling. And only those who listen will stand. If this message stirred something in your spirit, listen. If the warning felt true, do not ignore it. And if this prophecy reached you, subscribe to Kingdom Insights. More warnings are coming for those who are awake and willing to hear.